All right. Alrighty, this here's an interview with my grandparents. My name's Abraham Widener, and this is for the future generation of people to come in the years. So we're going to real quickly give you a rundown of what Grandma and Grandpa are like and all that good stuff there. So it's kind of laid back, unprepared. So here it goes. All right, first of all, Grandpa, what's your full name?
Puddentine.
Puddentine.
No, first, hey, listen, you got
Eugene Harold Cale.
Eugene Harold Carols. And what year were you born? Date.
January the 10th, 1922.
January 10th, 1922. Grandma, what's your full name? Maiden name?
Frances Marie McClung.
Frances Marie McClung. And you were born?
April the 22nd, 1924.
1924. Okay. All right. Grandpa, give us a couple childhood memories you remember. Just something just funny,
I
significant.
had a blank young memory.
You had a blank young memory?
Don't remember a thing.
Well, that's a lot of years back, ain't it?
They're wasting their time doing that.
No. Hey, first of all, how old are you now, Grandpa?
I'm past 85.
You're past 85. Grandma, how old are you?
I'll be 83 in April.
Okay, and y'all been married for
65.
Better than 65 years.
65 years. Okay.
Plus.
We'll get that in a minute. Okay, so you don't have any childhood memories you want to share?
Oh, yeah, I've got lots of them. My goodness, I can remember what happened when I was 2 years old and can't remember what happened yesterday.
Well, give us one. Give us one real fast.
Well, when we lived there at Kessler, I was about 4 years old. Hershey is about 2 or something like that. And one day we heard a lot of noise out back and took off out there to see what was going on. Hershey's sitting down on the ground, patting his hand in a big cow paw. He's just having a time.
That's
And that
awesome.
kind of stayed with me.
Okay, that's awesome. Before we do that, actually, let's go back. What are your parents' names? Where did you live? Where were you born? And all your brothers and sisters living or
I
dead
couldn't name all of them, but anyway, I was born on Keeney's Knob
in West Virginia.
in West Virginia,
Okay.
and that's between Alderson and Hinton.
Okay, and
On the mountain.
what were your parents' names?
Clyde and Lottie Cales.
Okay, do you remember your grandparents' names?
Yes, Philip Cales was my granddad, and let's see, what was her name? His wife, my grandma.
I forget what her name was.
It was Thessie or something, some such name, I don't know.
Tessie. And where were they raised? Or born?
They were raised up road there next to Sandstone. That's
And-
where their farm was at.
In West Virginia still.
Mhm.
Okay. And brothers and sisters?
My brothers and sisters,
Yeah.
Hershey, Kenneth,
Richard,
Richard, and then
Roy,
Roy,
Virginia,
Virginia, and
Jay,
Jay,
Jerry,
Jerry, and
Claudine,
Claudine,
Francis.
Francis, and Roger.
There you go. That's a lot. Was it 11 of y'all?
11. I'm
11.
the oldest out of 11.
Okay, you're the oldest out of 11. Okay. And how many are still living? 5?
3 boys and 2 girls.
Okay. And they're living in all over, right? West
yeah,
Virginia.
Mississippi,
Kenneth,
California, just about everywhere.
Okay.
Virginia.
Yeah. Okay. Grandma, what were your parents' names and where were you born and raised?
Okay, my mother and dad was Uther McClung and Nana Bennett McClung, and they was married in Kidsmiller, Maryland, and they lived in a small coal mining town in Shalmar, Maryland, where Daddy worked in the mines.
Okay.
And they was married in 1923, in April 1923, and the next year then, April 22nd, I was born in 1924.
Okay.
And one of the midwife, Carolyn Spiker, was Mom's doctor when
All
I
right.
was born. And they came a flood, 2 floods. One before I was born, and about 3 weeks later come another one and flooded out to mine so bad that Mom and Daddy had to go to the company store and see if they'd take her furniture back, and they kept a few things and come back to West Virginia, at Quinwood, West Virginia, where he got an apartment there and worked in the mines at Quinwood.
Okay. And what were your grandparents' names?
John and Margaret Bennett and
On her mother's side.
Latuna and Alex McClung.
On your
Dad's side.
on your
Dad's
dad's side.
side.
Okay. And they were born and raised around West Virginia, or
They was all raised in West Virginia.
okay. All right. Any childhood memories you remember you want to share?
Well,
Growing up.
I had a lot. We had to work a lot. We had. I went to a one-room school. In 7 years of my life, I went to one-room school. It was on our home place,
Okay.
and that's where I finished the 8th grade there in 1938. And yeah, we had a lot of childhood memories at the school, especially. Of course, at home we did too, but each one of us, we was out of a big family too, and Mom had the post office, and Daddy boarded away from home, and so we had a lot of, each one of us had a job to do before we went to school and when we come in of the evening.
Yeah.
So
A post office where? You said post
in the
office.
house,
In
the
the
post
house at
office was in the
Jetsville.
bedroom
Jetsville. Okay.
at Jetsville post office, and Mom was postmaster.
Oh, really? And your brothers and sisters.
Okay, there's me, of course. I'm the
She's
oldest. And there's Florence, and Junior, and Frankie, and Dorothy, and Don, and Dennis, and David, and where did I leave out Naomi? Naomi is before David. Dennis, and Naomi, and David, and Delmas, and Larry, and Martha. Is that 12?
Yeah, that's 12. That's 12.
I was about to leave Naomi.
And how many are still living?
10.
Oh, wow, that's pretty good.
Dorothy died when she was, I forgot to name her. She was born in 1932. She was born between Frankie and Don.
Okay.
And she was 2 years old when she died. And Dennis, he was 43 when he died with cancer.
Yeah.
And, we had a lot of childhood memories of swimming. We didn't have no movies or anything to go to, so we went to church, and when they had revival meetings and everything, we'd carry lanterns, if you all know what a lantern is. And it's a kerosene light with a globe and a handle on it. You carried it.
Uh-huh.
And so the neighbors and all of us would gather up, and we'd walk to church. The church is about 2 miles away or over.
Walk to church, huh?
About 2.5 miles. So us boys and girls would all gather up and go to church at night, and carried our lanterns to see to get over the mud holes and everything.
Wow.
And we just had a really good time.
That's awesome.
We'd sing and we'd laugh, and some of the boys would get mischievous, and they'd step in the mud holes and spice mud on us girls. And so there was just a lot of good times, but we'd sing church songs. There wasn't no movies to go to, and there was no television, and there wasn't no radio unless you wanted to watch Amos and Andy and some of the
Grand Ole
comedians and things, but that was later.
Yeah.
This was in the 1930s I'm talking about.
Yeah. Okay.
Because, see, I left home in 1940 and started working away. And my first job was one of our neighbors needed, their daughter got married and lived in Rainelle, and they needed somebody to stay with them, so I went to stay with them in about August 1940. And I worked for $3 a week.
And that's how you met Grandpa, correct? Through that job?
No, not then.
Not then. Okay.
I worked there I started to work there in August, and I think I went to his home a day after Christmas of the same year, 1940.
Uh-huh.
And so, you want me to tell you the rest of it?
Yeah. Well, let Grandpa share a little bit, and then
Okay.
and then we'll get yours.
No, go ahead and let her talk.
All right, you can talk then.
Well, you go ahead and tell them.
You go
How
ahead
did-
and
how did-
finish
how
what
did
you're
y'all meet?
talking.
You know how boys are, and they had a house full of boys, and so they was all in the dining room. And back then, you had beds in your living room. You didn't have living room like we have now, unless you was rich. We was all poor people, and so they had chairs sitting around in there, and a bed that they slept in, and a baby bed. And so Daddy, he took me over there to get this job. Somebody told him that they'd pay me $5 a week, so he took me over there the day after Christmas, and of course they hired me right there. And so these Jean and Hershey and Kenneth and all the younger ones, was back in the dining room, which was just a door out of this room, and then behind us there was another door. Of course, they was watching from both doors where you come in the living room, and they was trying to peep around the corner to see what I looked like, and so somebody pushed him out, and the first time I met Gene, they had pushed him out in the middle of the floor in front of us. We thought it was so funny, we all laughed about it.
That's awesome.
But that's how I met you. That's the first time I seen your grandpa.
Okay.
So, and then I stayed there from April till, from December till sometime in April, and then I went to Raynell to stay. I got $5 a week there, and when I went to Raynell in April, they paid me $7 a week, and so I worked there. And sometime that summer, probably about June, I think it was, June, he started coming down and wanted to know if him and Kenneth, they was together, they'd go pick up girls, whoever would go out with them to the show, and so they'd stop and ask me if I wanted to go. And the first time we went out together, Gene had another girl.
Molly Leckie.
He
really?
really liked her, and so Kenneth is the one that I was supposed to be dating, and so I didn't care for Kenneth. He seemed like a brother, and so I don't know. It wasn't too long after that. I think, as a matter of fact, Gene fell out with Molly about a week or two after that, and so he asked me for a date then. So we started dating then, and dated on until we got married.
And which was, when did y'all get married?
In December after that.
December what year? 1941.
That was 41.
41.
December the 24th.
Same year as Pearl Harbor, correct?
Right.
Yes.
And as far as I remember, y'all told me that's pretty much why y'all got married, because...
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
he thought he was going to
I
have to
thought
go.
I'd have to go to war.
So Pearl Harbor happened on that 9th or 8th?
It happened on the 7th.
The 7th, okay. And then y'all got married on the 24th of that year.
Yeah,
And been married ever since.
that's right.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
Anyway, he come down after Pearl Harbor. I didn't know that Pearl Harbor had happened. And so he come down to where I was staying in Raynell, and he wanted to know if we couldn't go get married. And so of course I said, we was already planning on getting married anyway. And so we had to go get our blood test back in. You had to go to the doctor and get a blood test before you could get married. So he come down, got me, took me to the doctor, and we both, family doctor. I got our blood test, and it come back clear. And,
You had to get a blood test back then to get married.
What was the reasoning behind that?
Be
It
sure
was-
that you didn't have no diseases or anything.
It was
Okay.
if you had any, venereal diseases.
Venereal disease.
Venereal diseases. And so, you want to talk?
Go ahead. You're doing a good job.
Well, anyway, we went to Lewisburg Courthouse then to get our license, and we found out that his parents had to be there, and my parents had to be there because I was 17 and he was 19. And so what we had to do was Francis was just about 2 months. That's your Aunt Francis was just about 2 months old, and Mom, she had David. He was born in March, so he was from March to December, whatever it was, and months. And so Mom had post office, and Granddad was there, and so she couldn't leave. So we found out then we couldn't get our parents together to get married, so we decided then that we'd just,
Go to
up our
Covington.
age right quick. And, so we went to Covington,
Only
Virginia.
thing we forgot to put we're over 21 in our shoe.
So we went to the courthouse in Covington, and it was, we took Kenneth with us for a witness, and he had packed up all of my things. I had saved up my money, and I had bought everybody in my family a Christmas present. I wanted to get everybody a Christmas present. I bought some of the older boys sleds and the different things for the girls, you know. And Mom and Daddy, I bought Mom a dress and Daddy a shirt and Granddad a pair of shoes. I think that's the way it was. I think I got Florence a guitar. Back then, you know, things were cheaper than they are now, I'll tell you. And so he packed all this stuff up and come and pick me up. And I had to fix, for their Christmas, the people I stayed with, I had to bake ham and do other cooking before I could leave to get married. So I had to really hurry up to get ready to go. And it was pouring down the snow so bad, we didn't know whether we could even get there or not. So the time we got to the courthouse, it was almost closing time in Covington, and it was just really pouring the snow. So he took we got our license, and they told us where to go to this parsonage. So we went to the parsonage and across the railroad tracks to see if a preacher was there to get married, and a preacher was out delivering Christmas baskets, and he just kept, you know, she kept waiting for him to come, and it was getting dark and pouring down the snow, and we was wanting to leave, and didn't know what to do, so she called in another preacher to that parsonage. So he married us there, and we started out, and we got to his home, and his dad and mother had supper ready for us, and so we eat supper, and we left there about 9 o'clock going to Nicholas County, to my home.
Snow was about like that.
And the snow got so deep, we got within about 5 or 6 miles of my home, and the snow got so deep then, we had to park at a neighbor's place on his farm, and he loaded everything we had in our car over into his truck. So we took off trying to get to Jetsville. And it was about 11 o'clock or later than when we got to Jetsville that night.
Wow.
And Daddy, he boarded away from home, of course, and he was coming in for Christmas. So he got there just a little bit after we left, or got there. And the snow was really deep before the next morning. But that's where we spent our...
This close 3 foot of snow that time.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, real quick, we'll jump into the spiritual part of it. What's your testimony, Grandpa? What were you like before you gave your heart to Christ, and then after, real briefly?
Well, I was a devil before I got saved. That's just about the way you'd put it, because I swear every time I said a word. And of course I always said if I walked in a church it'd fall down. But it didn't. It didn't fall down. And of course I was saved in the Amwell
1946, I
Baptist
think.
Church.
Okay.
I think it was 1946, or was the last
Probably
part of 45.
46 or somewhere along there, 45. And I've been that way ever since.
That's awesome.
No such thing as not being saved once you are.
That's awesome. Grandma, how about you?
Well, let me finish his first. Whenever he was baptized, he's leaving out a lot of it. Dottie, your Aunt Dottie, she didn't like it because her, well, as a matter of fact, she got a whipping because she would say curse words too. And she got some whippings for it. And so she found out we was getting ready to go to church, and she said, "Mommy, is Daddy really going to church with us today?" She just couldn't believe it, because I'd been walking and taking her to church about a mile, half down the road. And so when he was baptized, then it was in Meadow River, and you know where we used to live in Hines.
Mm-hmm.
And it was down over a bank, and we was all up on the bank, you know, and several of them was baptized that day. And when Gene went to baptize Gene, Dottie hollered out, "Daddy, you go get your pocketbook wet." So everybody thought that was kind of cute.
That is funny.
So, well, I was saved in let's see, Naomi Chapel, above home. The church is tore down and gone now. But I've got a picture of the altar where I was saved, which I'm thank the Lord for that. I was saved when I was about 12 years old.
Real young age.
Of course, I didn't live for the Lord like I should have. I was up and down, you know, seemed like through my life. Part of the time I went to church, and part of the time I didn't. Of of course, when I worked away from home, I couldn't go to church all the time. And so after Dottie was born, I started church at Big Clear Creek and rededicated and was baptized there in Big Clear Creek as you go into Rupert. In that creek, you know, that you cross going into Rupert.
Okay.
I was baptized right below the bridge there. And so it's been up and down, but we've stayed in church most of the time since. But see, Gene wasn't a Christian then. I had to go to church without him. And I had to take Dottie, and he wouldn't go with me at all. And most of the time he wouldn't take me. I'd walk and go. And then when he started church then, while we went to church, well, we'd go day and night too, because back in was everywhere they had a revival, where we'd gather up a bunch in our pickup truck and go to the revival. And these 3 old people that lived up above the church, they would come out with their lanterns, and they'd go to church with us. They was up in their 70s.
Wow.
And we had the best time. We'd have house prayer meetings and everything. So it was, you know, real good experience. And then when we moved to Jetsville then, we didn't go to church for a while, and they just had church in the summertime. They didn't have it in the wintertime. And so when we started church there, same place, same church that I was saved in, we decided that if others would go along with us, and so we got out and got all the young people started going to church, and so we had church the year round. And we had revival meetings, and we had a really, really good Christmas program. I got a picture, one picture of, you know, part of a manger scene or something we had at one of the places, but we had some really good meetings there. And then when we come back to Rupert, we was out of church just a little while, and we started back to Amwell, and moved our membership back to Amwell. And then there's a few problems in the church there in the 60s, and so we left there and went up to another Baptist church, and so that's where our membership is today.
Okay.
It's the Rupert Missionary Baptist Church.
Awesome.
And so
And switching topics here, now y'all have 2 daughters, correct? You have, what's their names and when were they born?
Dorothy Carolyn Kales is the oldest one, and Deborah Jean is the youngest one.
Mama, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And they, when was Dottie born?
Dottie was born in Rupert in a little old three room. Well, it really wasn't 3 rooms. It was just
2.
2 rooms in Rupert. And Dr. Crawley was her doctor. And it was during the war. And Gene, he worked the evening shift. And
The first war. World War One.
World War II.
World War II. Okay.
World War II. And you know, they had blackouts. And so he would be at work, and you know, whenever they sounded that siren, why I would get Dottie up, and she took a colic off her bed and cried a lot, so I'd get her up in my arms and hold her, or if she was asleep, I'd sit right by her with my hand on her, close to her, because you couldn't have no candles, no lights, no nothing. You had to turn everything out.
Wow. And when was Mom born?
Let's see, did I tell you Dottie's birthday? September the 8th, 1942
Okay.
was Dottie's birthday. And Debbie was born at Jetsville. Well, she's really born in Richwood Hospital in 1958.
Okay.
January the 21st, 1958.
About to run out.
Yeah, we only got a couple minutes left here. So real quick, Grandpa, y'all are married now, okay? And so what did you do as far as work? You did a couple things, correct?
I was a chief electrician at mines. My main subject to work at was welding.
Okay.
I taught it for about 7 years after it was mashed up in the mines, but worked at welding for probably 40-some years.
Okay.
And I was mashed up in 1967. June the 5th at 8:30 in the morning, I was put into 12 inches with hydraulic pressure. And my entire body. And I made it through that and everything. and the Lord really took care of me. And I'd sit out on the porch there at Hines and let the sun shine on me, because see, this happened June the 5th, so it was warm weather and sunny days, and I was black and blue and everything. My whole chest and everything was where it was mashed so much, and the bruised blood had come through my t-shirt, and it just looked like that you had wrung it out with rust or something.
Wow.
Every evening, she'd wash my clothes, and they still wouldn't come completely clean because there's so much in them. But that went on for months, getting all that bruised blood out of me.
And you were a game warden for some time too, correct?
Well, I worked with the game wardens.
the
I was a deputy game warden.
Okay.
And worked at forest service and all for years. I'm still, I guess, on the record as a forest ranger back home. But unless they've taken me off since I come up here, I don't know whether George did or not. And I still have my badge, my name, and everything. Of course, I still have my pistol. If I want to wear it, I can do it.
Nothing wrong with that, right?
Nothing wrong with
And
that.
so, when did you retire then?
I retired in
1976.
1976, 71.
No, so 74 is whenever you did the last school.
Yeah, I done my last teaching in about 74, and then I retired after that. I couldn't do that. I stayed sick too much. Got to get welding fever. That kept me out of the service, so the companies deferred me every time I come up. They said I was more important here, the government did, than I was in the service.
Because you served in the war welding ships.
Yeah,
which was-
well, I welded a lot on ships, but then I came back and went to work for Angene in the deep mines, and of course that's where I wanted to be, and that's where I worked in as there and for Johnny Jones and different people.
Okay.
Wright Coal Company.
We have a couple minutes left. Is there anything you want to say to the future generations?
Well, there's a lot I'd like to tell them, but some of it you couldn't say it on screen.
Well, I tell the future generations to make sure that you're right with God first of all. Put God first in your life, and everything else will take care of itself.
Yeah,
Because
to
after
quit
all-
this thing of getting married and divorced the same doggone year, that's a bunch of foolishness.
Yeah.
I'm like Harris Mullins, all he said, a guy that we camped with and everything. He said it's better to fight than to switch. He meant it too.
Because that is a problem in today's country, is divorces.
Yeah.
And I always talk or lift you up as 65 years of marriage. That's almost a miracle. What is a miracle nowadays? So
Yeah, better than 65 now.
yeah, it's awesome. Well, hey, we appreciate y'all letting me do this, and this is for future generations to see. So hopefully y'all enjoyed it, and hopefully we'll pass this down from generation to generation. Thank you.